just make everything more tough, for this. It's true that I think we have more potential than what we saw, but yeah, was tough after all.
How positive was the test, and did that test come at a good time after that weekend?
Yeah, super positive at the end. We managed to understand why I was suffering that much, where it was coming from, and try to improve a bit the bike. Looks like it works for this. Let's see how it will be here in French.
How much are you looking forward to the new era?
Quite a lot. I mean, after knowing that in 2027 will change everything, maybe I'm not that happy, because I think it's the best year for Moto2 guys to come to MotoGP, because it will be everything new, even the tires. Let's say our level of experience after 3 years will be for nothing, let's say. For KTM will be a really good opportunity to close the gap, knowing that they arrived quite late to the championship, only like 10, 11 years ago. For this, I think will be a really nice challenge for every manufacturer.
This Grand Prix is going to go to the stewards room. What a dramatic start to MotoGP. It might be just a sprint race, but he fully deserves that, whatever happens. Great race, Gav.
What a great start it was for you to win your first sprint in Thailand and then second in the race. But for you to win on a Sunday, obviously important for you, but how significant would it be to deliver that for KTM as well, who've waited 4 years for a win on a Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, tough to say sometimes that one thing was gonna take that long, let's say, but things come like this. I mean, I think everyone in KTM know the problems that we have, or also the rivals that we have around. For this, I say that will be super important for every manufacturer how we enter to the new MotoGP era with the 850s. But will be more than for KTM. I would say that it's super important to me, because at the end, after winning a sprint race, it's like the way to close a cycle, for this. It's true that will not be easy. Like I say, Aprilia surprised a lot to us. Ducati is still in the same level that they were last year. For this, it will be difficult.
Let's focus on this weekend then. And I know Le Mans is somewhere where you've been competitive over the years, but perhaps haven't quite maybe put it together. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's true that maybe the track that I was performing more during the years, and the one that I was struggling more to put everything together on a Sunday, But it's true that maybe I was coming with other mentality. I remember my first year here in Moto3, I was starting in the back of the grip, I come back, I crash, and then I come back again. Finishing 8 was not bad. My first season in Moto2, I was leading the race finally, and I crashed also. 23, I crashed also. 24 also. And last year, when looks like spring was going not so bad, I crashed also. But anyway, finally last year we finished the main race in a top 4 after having a really difficult race.
What is the mentality then this time coming here?
I'm just trying this season to don't make a lot of mistakes. You know how hard it was for me last year to put everything together, and being honest, I know that we are not performing like Ducati and Aprilia, but on the other hand, we are not that far. I have double of the points compared last year, and last year I finished in 4th in the championship. I don't want to lose the game already at the beginning of the year for this. The target will be trying to be again in this top 5, trying to forget a bit Jerez also, and try to be as close to the Ducatis that we can.
It's always fascinating listening to Pedro talk, isn't it? And we know that he's just crammed full of talent, Michael. And it feels like it hasn't quite been unleashed yet. Maybe it never will with KTM, I don't know, but it's bubbling, it's boiling, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no doubting the man's speed, his talent. Obviously, KTM have leaned on him a little bit in the recent years to deliver when perhaps their package isn't quite there circuit to circuit. But at the moment, we're seeing flashes of Pedro being able to do magical things on the RC16. we expect he will move to Ducati next year. When that happens, that unlocks another Pedro Acosta. But right now, he's got a job in hand, 18 more races here in MotoGP on the KTM. A track he's been always good at, a tricky scenario here today with the low temperature and the fact that we've had rain and grip's going to be down. And all of a sudden it provides him an opportunity, but he has mentioned all those crashes he's had over the years here. So it's not been kind to him, but today he could deliver.
And you mentioned the difference there. There's obviously a temperature difference, and the track will have changed from that rain this morning. So how much and how does that affect what they're thinking about and how they're setting up now?
It's a massive difference because already from the soft to the hard front, we've got quite a big difference. And the problem is the hard front requires a much higher track temperature. So if you're going to risk it now for the full length for the race, it's going to be maybe a little bit more constant, but there's going to be a big performance drop from yesterday when the temperatures were much higher. And if you go with a soft front, well, you could find yourself, running out of front tire after half race. So that's going to be tough, and that's going to favour some riders compared to others, and some manufacturers compared to others.
Yeah, we've got 27 laps around here. It's a short track. It's only just over 4 kilometres, but it's a conundrum, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the tyre scenario today is probably the biggest question mark on everyone up and down here. Obviously, we've seen Zarco fast on Friday afternoon, but it was hotter than it is now, and it was the soft tyre, and he said the tyre fell off a cliff after 10 laps. So does he opt for the medium rear, the soft front? What is going to be the right balance, and who's going to strike it? Lucky, maybe it is educated guess. They've done their homework through all these different conditions we've had. But yeah, I think we're having a bit of a lottery. I don't expect more rainfall, but it just provides that conundrum. Which is the tyre to go for today? Yeah,
hopefully it won't rain again, and then we'll have some consistency in the terms that it will be a dry track. But we're standing just sort of ahead of where Johann Zarco will be. That incredible moment last year. I mean, it's almost impossible to repeat it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. That said, though, Zarco was super quick on Friday in dry conditions.
Yeah,
he was P1 at the end of Friday. It looked really good, and it sort of like went away from him, with that crash in the practice in Saturday morning. Didn't quite qualify where he wanted to, and starting, from 10th on the grid, that's a big ask for the race today. But you never know. I mean, the rain, the clouds are still around, and the predictions are sort of like 30% rain, and the wind is cold, so it could still happen for him in dry conditions. So it's going to be tough.
Well, the crowd, that's exactly what they want. But we can head over to turn 2. I think that's where Neil and Gav are. The bikes are just about to go out, so atmosphere always electric around here, chaps.
Absolutely, Susie. We've just walked from where you are in pit lane all the way up to here. What is it, about 500 metres, something like that, 400 metres?
Felt like 5 miles.
It did, up this hill, up towards the chicane. And every single patch of the banks opposite, every single grandstand seat is taken. It is full to the brim here. And here are actually turn 2's there, turn 3 and 4 behind me, Neil, the chicane. And on the whole MotoGP calendar, this is the corner where people crash more than any. Not so much this weekend, but when you're stood here by the side of the track, the riders just now are coming out of pit lane, as we can see. You get a feel for why, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such a pinch point. The reality, though, with this part of the track is you can make up so much ground on the first lap, just like Jorge Martin did in the sprint race. I mean, it essentially won him the race. But you can also lose it. Risk versus reward. If you're hesitant into here, Gav, on the first lap, you'll get mugged. But if you're too aggressive, you'll be in that gravel trap. We've seen it so many times.
They've got all the ride height devices to contend with off the start. That's another thing. They're not braking hard enough, essentially, through turn 2 to disengage the front and the rear ride height devices. So you might see someone's bike, like Enea Bastianini last year, stuck in position. And then you come to this horrible crest, this sort of off-camber. It's horrible. It's still uphill.
Yeah, well, you've described it perfect. You're doing 200 miles an hour there. You have to scrub all the speed off, but look at the angle of that. It's like, I don't know if you can see with my arm, it's at that angle. It's such a negative camber, and you're trail braking into that corner, second gear. Hence, we've seen so many people lose the front. And then, like I say, then it goes steep uphill. It's super technical. Like I said, easy to get wrong, but if you master it, if you are aggressive on the opening lap, you can gain so much time.
And there is a danger, though, isn't there? Like Jorge Martin tried to repeat what he did yesterday, just trying to go out and repeat it. You have to feel it, don't you, in the instant?
It's so funny you say that. So I was thinking about Martin, he'd be thinking, right, I know exactly what to do. But racing doesn't work like that. Also, all his opponents have seen what he's done. So there'll be other riders thinking, people go to the inside, so usually that leaves room on the outside. Usually in race 2, people are clever, so there'll be a lot of people trying that. You can't plan. If you try and plan, things always happen differently, so you've just got to, what will be, and be instinctive.
This is the highest part of the circuit up here at the, you can see what used to be the Dunlop Bridge, now the Goodyear Bridge behind. And as you said, as Silva mentioned before, a cold breeze up here. I don't know, there shouldn't be rain, but you never know. This is Le Mans, expect the unexpected.
And Toprak has had a problem. Looks like his bike has blown up. I think you could just see that in the corner of your screen there as Pedro comes in behind us and your poleman, Pecco Acosta as well. So things going on. You can just see that. Oh, what a shame! It's his first time in Le Mans as well, and it's been a difficult weekend for Toprak, and it looks like it's all over for the Turkishman. But let's not forget that the grid is different as well. The boys were talking about the start there, and Jorge Martin possibly he's got to go for something similar to yesterday because he's going from the 3rd row, but he's not from 8th, he's from 7th. With Mark missing, everyone shovels up.
Yeah, he moves across to arguably a better spot because 7th, he's a metre or so further forward, but he's got no one to his left. Yesterday, he got such a run through the middle, and he was just instinctive of where to put his bike. Today, he can probably control things a little better from the outside, but he needs a similar jump to really capitalise and put himself into contention. Just to reiterate with Toprak, he will be able to get back, start on his spare bike, start the warm-up lap from pit lane, start from his grid spot, and then do a double long lap penalty.
Time.
So he will be able to start this race, but his race is done in terms of a result.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Michael. Yeah, well, they're all pretty much in place now, apart from Toprak. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to the riders. Hello, welcome back to the grid here in Le Mans. And good news for Toprak. It seemed like he was able to get back, get on his second bike and get out while the pit lane was still open, so no penalty. And he will start from the grid. He starts from 16th. We are standing in front of the sprint winner from yesterday, Jorge Martin. Behind us, the Le Mans football team are with Johan Zarco. They're celebrating back-to-back promotions. They've been backed by an amazing conglomerate of money that includes Felipe Massa and Novak Djokovic, and they're all happy. So there's a great sense of celebration already on here. And Jorge's been here. He's gone back, I think, to the garage, but while he was here, Nat caught up with him.
Well, hey, you made an incredible start yesterday. You've moved over a place on the grid. Are you in an even better position to try and repeat that today?
Well, the target is to do a great start for sure, but today is really tricky out there, so let's see. We will try to be in the top group, let's say, and try to follow them till the end. So yeah, maybe we can fight at the end for that victory, so let's see.
All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michael, so let's talk about this start then, shall we? Sylvan's just getting, in fact, Sylvan's getting a word from the Michelin guy. What's he said?
Well, I think Michael's going to talk about that later, so I'll give you the little secrets.
You've got a bit of info for later. Okay, fine. Jorge Martin's start then, you know, we were wowed, all of us, by it yesterday. Everybody on the grid will have looked at that, as the boys were saying. How do you see the start of this going?
I think with what we witnessed from Aprilia's starts this year, their consistency and ability to back it up and do it again, even with the pressure on and the expectation that Jorge's going to get the start, I think he can repeat it once again. He's lightening up through the box, like Danny Pedrosa when he was such a good starter. He could do it every time. So look for him around the outside in the run to turn 1 and 2, but he will be wary. The cold track conditions or the cooler feeling as you go up over the top, the left side of the tyre then becomes a little bit treacherous. So yeah, he sounds a bit more cautious as he approaches this one today.
And yesterday his teammate Marco Bezzecchi was saying he needed more from the bike. He was struggling with the front of the bike around here, so he's been looking for changes overnight.
Yeah, that front feel hopefully they can find, but yeah, at the start the Aprilias, they're just so good and they get that momentum off the line, and then they can just sort of like wait a little bit, find the right gaps. It's a really strong place for them to be. I just got put off a little bit because Benoit Saint-Denis from the UFC, the French UFC fighter, just walked back, and I'm a massive fan of him. And yeah, how good is that? He's just coming to give a bit of a fighting spirit to Johan Zarco.
Did he not recognise you?
Eh?
Did he not recognise you?
No, but I recognised him though. you can tell with the ears.
Okay, we'll let you fanboy for a moment. Michael, Pecco Bagnaia is in pole position and he's in fine fettle since the test. He's found something.
Yeah, looking fantastic this weekend. Been able to stop the bike. He's accurate, he's consistent, looks confident. And it's nice to see the confidence back on Pecco Bagnaia. He's a proper threat for this one. Again, needs to start, needs to choose the right front tyre, needs to get it up to the temperature, and I think he's the danger man. In terms of the Ducati strength, probably him and Digi. I guess the Aprilia is probably Martin is their lead rider, but I think Pecco this weekend, you can count on him.
Yeah, he's looking good. Luca Marini is going from 14th, and Nat has caught up with him, if you can still hear me.
Well, Luke, I'm sure you were disappointed with yesterday, but overall, the Hondas look pretty strong here this weekend. You had a real positive start on Friday. Is there something you've changed or improved from the Jerez test that you've been able to use this weekend?
Well, we slightly improved from Jerez test for sure, but I think the most difference is that Le Mans always is a track where the gap between one rider and one manufacturer and another is very small, because offer you just one line and you cannot make a lot of difference. So for this we are very close, will be tight. The race will be very important, the start, the first 3 corners, and then I think we have everybody a very similar pace. So we will have a nice fight. I hope the weather can stay like this. For us, it will be fantastic, or a flag-to-flag race that can open some opportunities.
All the best, Luca. Thank you.
Thanks, Nat. Yeah, it was disappointing for Luca yesterday. It was also disappointing for Fabio Di Gianantonio because he looked so strong across the weekend, and he brings that forward. He has momentum with him. He's moved up to the front row from the second row with the absence of Marc Marquez. Marc is injured. If you've missed that, he's having a surgery today. He won't be here. He won't be in Catalan either. That's all we know at the moment. In terms of Fabio Di Gianantonio, though, how does that change his race plan going from the front row?
Well, he'll want to redeem himself from yesterday. It was a disaster race for him, a super bad start, put him on the back foot, and then a crash. So everything went wrong for him. And Fabio Di Gianantonio, since we arrived here on Friday, he's got pace, he's got speed, he's now on the front row, and he's got another chance to go at it. So yeah, definitely a contender for the win today.
And how important do you think it would be for Fabio he's been flying the Ducati flag, he's been the fastest Ducati here, and now we see that Pecco is kind of, getting his race back together again. So he's going to want to keep that placement, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Championship-wise, he's there. He's still in contention, Digi. He had to contend with a few things this weekend, almost got stung by a wasp in qualifying, so put him out of sorts. So actually getting the front row start today is probably deserved. He's had the rhythm and he wants to establish himself. It's that point in the season. He's talked about for a KTM factory contract. He's talked about will he stay at VR46. He just wants a bit of consistency, delivering results here in Le Mans, once again in Catalonia, and establishing himself as a true championship contender.
And we've heard that VR46, it's their goal to keep him there. So, it seems like a match made in heaven, possibly with Fermin Aldeguer as his teammate next year.
Yeah, that is the rumour. Everyone was slightly surprised that Aldeguer was placed there immediately so early in the season. One spot left. Digi's the lead candidate, but then you've got other rumours of Moto2 riders hovering around, although Digi's earned that seat. But there will be a factory contract in the offering with maybe 7 figures more. Well, maybe both are 7 figures, but VR46 is an independent team. You don't expect the millions for that, whereas a KTM contract would be in a few million for Fabio, which would be a nice little uplift for him.
Yeah, could Digi win today?
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be tough. It's going to depend a lot on the start and the moves that are made or not. In those first few corners, it's tough to overtake around here. So it's double-edged. It means that the riders are going to take a lot of risk initially to grab those positions and to make a difference. And as we know, at the start, it's going to be tough. The rider devices are going to be engaged, and you're going to have to keep them engaged through that turn 1, and that is unbelievable. This is the fastest corner of the calendar.
If you're sitting at home, you're thinking, well, why are they using them? And everybody's like, yeah.
They have to. It makes such a difference of the line. If they don't use it, they'll lose about 50 meters.
Difference of the start versus danger here.
Yeah, you go with danger, don't you? Because that's what we're on the business of danger. Well, or managing the danger.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's hear from his teammate then. Here's Franco Morbidelli.
Well, Frankie, you have to prepare for anything, I suppose, in Le Mans. How have you felt this weekend up to this point?
I've been struggling quite a lot, but apart from this morning I felt pretty good on the bike. So yeah, some light.
Any changes at all after the sighting lap?
Not really.
Thanks, Frankie.
You can always rely on Frankie Morbidelli. Can we have a word with Alex Marquez? Because he's starting watching from the front row, and I'm just wondering whether you feel like he could be a bit of a dark horse, because he's great around here.
Yeah, he's got pace as well, Alex Marquez. So Alex Marquez is always a little bit like we never quite see him during the weekends, and he just pops up at race time and he just makes it count when it matters. So yeah, Alex Marquez definitely here. I mean, for me, it would have been a massive favourite if the conditions would have been to worsen, so rain or drying track. But he's still got a chance in the dry as well, and he did so well in Jerez. I mean, he destroyed everybody in Jerez.
Just a quick one about Fabio Quartararo. I know we started our show with that, but 27 laps, how tough is that going to be for the Yamaha?
It's going to be hard, but he performed miracles yesterday. The V4 seems to be working, horsepower not such an issue. So yeah, he's got an opportunity today. With a good start, Fabio will hang on in front of the French fans. Yeah,
and the French fans are aplenty here. It's sold out. We're on the edge of some rain, I feel like. It could happen. The temperature's dropped and the wind is just starting to get up a little bit. We'll take a breather then and we'll enjoy the anthem.
That was something. Well, you can tell they've been to a race last year and they've enjoyed it, haven't they? So yeah, they want to repeat. The French fans have turned up and they are absolutely revved up for that race.
Yeah, they really are, and it just makes the hairs on your arms stand up, doesn't it? Yeah, real goosebumps. Really brilliant. Your hero was holding the flag, by the way, the UFC.
Oh, great.
Here comes Brad Binder behind you, and the boys getting into position. Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini getting prepped as he goes to his bike for this one. Right, so the French Grand Prix. It was a masterpiece. It was a masterclass from Johann Zarco last year. What are we going to get today?
It's going to be tough to repeat today because obviously last year the condition helped a lot, that challenge from Johann Zarco, but all French riders, they've got the heart, they've got the public, they're going to give it all. Fabio Quartararo actually yesterday did a really decent sprint race. It was a good, strong, solid performance from Fabio Quartararo and his Yamaha. It's got a special livery, it looks better. It's worth about 2 or 3 times, doesn't it, when you look good. And Johann Zarco is revved up. He had the pace on Friday, but unfortunately he didn't quite qualify as well as he wanted to. So he's going to have to fight, take some massive risk initially and try and get in the mix. I do get the feel though that it's going to be very difficult to fight against the Ducatis and the Aprilias today. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, and I think Johann Zarco coming in with an enormous amount of pressure on his shoulders, really, of the whole of France, expecting that he can do the same again. But it was almost like a lightning in a bottle, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, and fairy tales, they can't happen all the time. Otherwise, there wouldn't be fairy tales. So it doesn't matter. As long as you go out and race his heart out, you know, the fans will be happy, and that's what we love to see.
Well, hopefully you can hear how great the atmosphere is here. We can go and speak to Davide Brivido from Trackhouse. His boys are 8th and 12th.
Davide, give us the thoughts of your riders, Igor and Ralph Fernandez, and what is your weather forecast saying for this one?
Yeah, that's what everybody would like to know. No, I mean, it looks like it could stay dry, but of course we expect maybe by the end it could be some drop, but you never know. So also I think this depends also the tire choice, especially for the front, the front tire. because if it can rain, maybe to have a soft tire is a little bit better, otherwise the hard is a little bit better, so we are still discussing. I mean, we almost decided, but yeah, the weather forecast doesn't influence only whether you go on wet tires, but also which type of dry tire to choice, you know? Okay, but let's see. It's same for everybody. You try to guess what is the best.
As always, anything can happen. Thank you, Davide.
You're welcome.
Anything can happen. The wind is really starting to get up. I've got a flag-to-flag feeling it could rain at any moment here, and it's all go on the grid. We saw Sylvain speaking to the Michelin guy earlier. I wonder if he's managed to pass the details on to Michael. Let's find out. Michael, tyres, what you got?
Yeah, Susie, I did pick Sylvain's brains quickly, then I spoke to a few of the engineers on the grid. This weekend, it's been hotter on Friday. Everyone liked the hard front, and they're a little bit concerned that the air temperature isn't quite hot enough, but it sounds like it's almost a 50-50 split. I think Pedro Acosta's going to opt for the hard front. Those who are a little bit in the pack are thinking you'll get the temperature from the bike in front, that'll get the tyre up to temperature, and it'll last over race distance. So that is the conundrum. The rear of the machine, also the soft tyre, I think is a bit of a concern managing it. Everyone wanted to use the medium, but not enough time to really get it up into that working range today. So I think the majority going for the soft. We heard from Zarco, who was fast on it on Friday, that it drops off quite a bit after 10 laps. So managing tyres, who can do it? I'm standing beside Nea Bastianini. Surprise, maybe dark horse here today with tyre management.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Good shout with Enea Bastianini and tyre management. You're looking at your sprint winner from yesterday, and he did it from the third row of the grid. Jorge Martin just prepping, doing his final stretches and concentration for what is ahead. A phenomenal start he had yesterday in a move that took him from 8th to 1st by turn 3. He's moved, of course. The grid's all switched up. He's going from 7th now with the lack of Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez is injured. He's having surgery today, and hopefully he'll be back in a couple of rounds' time. He's got Pedro Acosta in his sights ahead of him, and as he can get round like he did yesterday as we walk through to the front row of the grid. And Fabio Quartararo going from the 2nd row on that beautiful livery that he's got. But your man in pole position is Pecco Bagnaia. He's found some great form since that test in Jerez, and he's looking really good around here. Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi gets a final hug from Paolo Bonora on the grid before he goes out to continue his championship campaign. And Fabio Di Gianantonio had a terrible day yesterday, but could it be his day today? The VR46, is he your dark horse for this? Let's not forget that it's getting into turn 1, and their ride height devices are going to be engaged. It's the fastest turn on the calendar. They're like drag bikes. They can hardly turn them. Who can manage it best? Your French Grand Prix is coming your way.
Good afternoon from France. It's MotoGP time here at historic Le Mans. And after all the uncertainty earlier today, the Premier Class riders get a dry track and a full distance French Grand Prix. 27 laps ahead of us. Pecco Bagnaia starting from pole position. But a reminder, no Marc Marquez along